We'll see if we can make it 3 in a row in Sioux Falls as we challenge another record high temperature today, getting up into the 90s further south and east. But there is a preview of some of what's to come in more ways than one out west. Cooler temperatures and the threat for showers and thunderstorms, the latter of which could be strong to severe West River as we go into the first part of your night. We'll go through the rest of your 7-day forecast, which does feel like fall, I promise you, coming up in a little bit. Until then, Midday in KELOLAND starts right now.
Live from KELOLAND Media Group, Midday in KELOLAND.
One teen pleads guilty in the 2022 murder of a Sioux Falls man. Plus,
President Biden calls on Congress to get to work on passing a long-term funding bill. I'm Skyler Henry on Capitol Hill after lawmakers averted a government shutdown for now.
Good afternoon and thanks for having us in. One of the teenagers accused of being involved in the murder of Paul Billion has entered a guilty plea. This morning, 19-year-old Sotimon Pillay pleaded guilty to manslaughter. 2 other teenagers are charged with murder in the case. They have not entered pleas. Billion's body was found in August of 2022. Investigators say it was a drug-related robbery that escalated. KELOLAND's Tom Hansen was in the courtroom for today's hearing, and we'll have more on the case tonight on KELOLAND News. We also have an update on a case out of Turner County. A Parker man admits to killing a baby in September of last year. 26-year-old Philip Delaney has pleaded guilty to manslaughter. In exchange for his plea, prosecutors dropped murder and aggravated battery of an infant charges. Delaney will be sentenced in January. Turning to weather, it's another hot one out there. It might be another record-setting day, don't you think, Adam?
Yeah, it is certainly in the cards. I mean, we did it both days this weekend. Why not just kick off the week where we left off, huh? That's just, the way it kind of feels that way. For now, though, there is big change on the way as we head later this week, and it's going to feel like fall. I'll put it that way. On top of it looking like it in Aberdeen. You notice the color there. In the trees, 81 with a south wind at 11 miles per hour. But further to the south as we head downtown, there's the 10th Street overpass. That's 87 already. The number to beat today is 92. That would at least tie our 3rd record in a row or break it if we get to 93. Either way, noon update, 87 at the airport, south wind to 17 miles per hour. We're at 89 in Spencer, 85 for Yankton, but you notice out west, it is definitely cooler by a pretty wide margin. 52 Spearfish, for example, 57 in Faith, 63 Mulbridge, even 67 for Pierre and Phillip, 62 in Rapid City. And that wind direction is playing a role. East River, it is a southerly wind and a strong one at that, 15 to 20 miles per hour in many locations. But out west, it is a lighter northerly breeze. And that is really playing a factor and will continue to do so until we get our cold front to finally move on through. For now, key phrase, we're quiet. But later this evening and overnight, we will need to watch out west with a slight risk level 2 out of 5 in yellow for Oglala, Lakota County, southeastern Pennington County, eastern Fall River County, the eastern fringe of Custer County, and then portions of Bennett and Jackson County. Everybody else West River, it's a marginal risk in green, level 1 out of 5. Wind and hail are going to be the main concerns with any storm that is able to get its act together. But East River, we are largely quiet, albeit windy and hot. 90s for southeastern KELOLAND. Worthington maybe being able to slip under that by the slimmest of margins. And meanwhile, to the northeast, 80s and low 90s. Sisseton and Huron on the warmer side, for example. Aberdeen a little bit cooler at 85. And I'm using the term cooler very loosely. East River. More so it's an accurate term out west with Spearfish and Buffalo being in the upper 60s. But we do also have that chance for thunderstorms developing later in the day. We'll talk about that, how that migrates eastward on Tuesday, and just how cool it's going to get by the end of the week. It's all coming up in your 7-day forecast.
All right, thank you, Adam. The magic of Hollywood can be found in all sorts of places. Some major blockbusters were filmed in rural South Dakota. Alfred Hitchcock's North by Northwest in 1959 featured Cary Grant, Also, of course, the beloved Dances with Wolves, featuring Kevin Costner, released in 1990, was filmed in the plains of South Dakota. Paul Verhoeven's film Starship Troopers, that was released in 1997. The 1998 Armageddon film, featuring Bruce Willis, Billy Bob Thornton, and Ben Affleck, was also filmed in the state. And National Treasure Book of Secrets, featuring Nicolas Cage, was set and filmed in South Dakota. In recent years, the youth of America have stepped more and more into activism roles, and one Sioux Falls teenager started a group to empower the younger generation here to stand up for what they believe in. South Dakota Youth Activism became an official nonprofit in September.
There's a lot of power behind young people, and I know if we really, I guess, herd that into something special, we can do a lot of things.
In tonight's Eye on KELOLAND, Lauren Solich takes a look at what South Dakota youth activism has accomplished so far and their plans for the future. Former President Donald Trump campaigned in rural Iowa yesterday, visiting farmers and delivering a fiery speech in Ottumwa. This footage, filmed by Trump's Deputy Director of Communications, shows the former president signing a John Deere combine harvester on a farm in Layton. Earlier in the day, Trump spoke in a bid to lock up support ahead of the Iowa caucuses in early 2024. It was Trump's second trip in 2 weeks to eastern Iowa. Congress was able to do what almost nobody expected over the weekend: come together with bipartisan support to avert a shutdown and a potential crisis of their own making. But as Skylar Henry reports from Capitol Hill, their work is far from done.
Congress did the unexpected. Lawmakers passed a bipartisan bill over the weekend avoiding a government shutdown.
The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
The bill keeps the lights on for the next 45 days at current spending levels. It does not have the deep cuts House Republicans were pushing for.
It wasn't the choice we wanted to have. We tried to pass the most conservative stopgap measure possible.
Hardline conservatives would not bend on their demands, so House Speaker Kevin McCarthy enlisted help from Democrats, a move that could cost him.
I do intend to file a motion to vacate against Speaker McCarthy this week. I think we need to rip off the Band-Aid. I think we need to move on with new leadership.
But McCarthy says he's not concerned.
So be it. Bring it on. Let's get over with it, and let's start governing.
Governing starts with passing long-term spending bills to keep the government open. But there's also a battle brewing over helping fund Ukraine's war against Russia.
We cannot, under any circumstance, allow American support for Ukraine to be interrupted.
A growing number of Republicans are opposed to spending more money on Ukraine, but they are a minority for now.
Most Senate Republicans remain committed to helping our friends on the front lines.
President Biden says Ukraine cannot survive without more help from Congress. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The Pentagon says it has exhausted most of the security assistance Congress has already authorized for Ukraine, and that there's only enough left to meet Ukraine's battlefield needs for a bit longer.